Oh boy, do I have some fun Tundra news for you today. Now this is a 2025. We'll talk about that in a minute. So I've got several things I want to talk about in this video. One is this 2025 Tundra. There's a 2024 that's not included in the recall. Went through a huge ordeal trying to get his engine fixed, and now he's looking for a buyback. I wanted to show you that. I need you guys to weigh in on this poor guy. He's a little delusional. He wants to buy a third-gen Tundra, but wait till you see what he's trading in on it. There's no way I would trade this vehicle in on a third gen. And in addition to some problems with the Tundras, I am going to show you some higher mileage Tundras. So they're not all failing. I always want to keep it balanced on here. Let's dive into the first story. Now this first story comes in from Ryan Bishop. So his engine blew at 30,000 miles. So he's got a 2024. It's not included in the recall, means he doesn't get a new crate engine. He has to get this mess of a rebuild. Now check out this story, what happened to him at the dealership. So he gets a short block rebuild on his 2024 after his engine fails, 30,000 miles. He said he was called last week and told his vehicle was ready for pickup after close inspection. There were several significant scratches due to the abuse that had gone on through this entire process. I'll show you the pictures here in a moment. So he takes his truck and he starts, apparently he got Toyota to agree with maybe going to the collision center and getting some of these scratches fixed. So while driving to the collision center, his brakes started acting up, check engine light comes on. He had to leave it at the Toyota dealer for another week. He was called today and was told it would be ready. Multiple issues were found due to the reassembly from the engine rebuild. And this is what people need to start doing. Ryan, kudos to Ryan. He says, I'm not picking this vehicle back up. I refuse to put my family in any more danger. I hope Toyota does the right thing and buys this truck back. He's not bashing Toyota. He's just letting people know kind of what they're going to go through in this situation. So here's one of the photos that he took. Of course, he's got the 24, not included in the recall, not supposed to have debris problems, but as you can see there, a lot of metal in this oil pan. Lots of carnage there. Of course, they stored some of the bolts there from the oil pan, but those aren't, those weren't in the oil pan when they pulled it down. But all that metal, all those shavings, probably bearings and other pieces that are just letting go in the engine. And this is why people just don't have a lot of confidence in this. It's not necessarily always the quality of the tech or whatever, but look at this. These flat rate techs are told to tear this mess down. I mean, this is a mess of an engine. These things are huge. So many parts. They got to take all the parts off, get a new short block, clean everything out that Toyota claims they need to reuse on the engine, and then put it all back together. This is not going to function like a normal new engine. In my opinion, I would not want this done on my truck. Look at that mess. And of course, this is how they typically do these short block rebuilds. Now, the crate engines, they generally don't have to do the cab off repair anymore. They have the new hoist that they send, but these short block rebuilds, a lot of these guys are still doing cab off. I mean, if this was you, I get it like, oh, it's all covered under warranty, Toyota's going to take care of me. But would you want that back? Probably not at this point. And it appears we have another 2025 where the engine has seized, or at least reported here. This guy was responding to the post of Ryan Bishop, and he said he was sitting there getting his oil changed on his 25. The dealership told him that oil change wasn't recommended until 10,000. This guy was getting it done at 4,000. And then they went on to tell him that a 2025 just rolled in with 15,000 miles last week and had the engine seized. All right, this story is coming in from Luke. He has an update on his 2025 Tundra Hybrid TRD Pro. He's got 3,125 miles on it, went dead on Saturday, started with hybrid system malfunction warning, was smelling burnt in the car everywhere. So he got it towed to the dealer. He said yesterday, Toyota called him back and said his transmission was completely out, big pieces of metal in the oil. I'm assuming he means in the transmission pan. It is dead. He's now waiting on Toyota Canada to give the go-ahead with a full transmission replacement, asks if he should be concerned about this. Now, I'd be less concerned about a transmission replacement, although it's still a pretty big repair. It is a lot easier to just pull a transmission out, put a new one in, and bolt it onto the powertrain than it is to do the engine swap. Darren says, this is why we have warranty. Things break in any brand. See, this is how they're programming everybody to just accept this failure rate. Even with Toyota, just accept it. This is why we have warranties. Just luck of the draw. And this is actually, I mean, ironically, I'm shocked to say that people are buying Rams instead of Toyotas or swapping them out. If you look at this last comment in this thread, he says, "So sad seeing you go through this. He bought a 25 Ram 1500. He's about to sell his Tundra privately because the dealerships there don't want his Tundra." So he says, "So bad owning a Ram now feels safer than a Toyota." Isn't that the truth? You see that a lot in the GM forums as well with all their transmission issues. A lot of guys are trading in those GM 2500s and they're getting the Rams because of they just want the ZF transmission. Now, I will say that you don't see a lot of transmission failures from the Toyotas, so it's few and far between on the groups. I will say their transmissions seem to be holding up better than like General Motors and Ford for sure, but they also sell like 1/8 the number of vehicles. So, all right, now on to the trade-in. That you guys have to weigh in on this. I'm sure there are third-gen owners that say, yeah, go ahead and do this. I would imagine the majority of people in the comments on my channel are probably going to say, "What are you thinking?" This guy says he's really torn. He has a 2016 Tundra Limited, 89,000 miles, pristine condition with some mods. This thing looks really nice. Looks like he's maybe got a lift on it leveled, but it looks really nice. Has a tonneau cover. Looks like he's just been meticulous with maintenance. 16 was a really good year. Still had the transmission cooler in it, and it's got the V8 and only 89,000 miles. That thing is worth a lot of money. Calvin, man, I'm going to tell you, don't trade that in. Don't do it. Unless you just want to have a heart attack, like Darwin says below. He says, don't do it. You're going to get a heart attack. That's true, man. People are like looking over their shoulder with these third gens. I get that it's only supposed to be 1%, but man, this truck, I actually thought about reaching out to this guy and said, "Hey man, how much are you thinking about selling it for? Because I've been looking for a Tundra. I'm sure he'd want a fortune for it, and I'm sure the dealers will give him a pretty penny for it, but geez, I just wouldn't want to sell it. Now, with those miles, that thing will last so long, and you won't have to think about it. What a great looking truck. What do you guys think? All right, now we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and I'm gonna show you it's not all of them that are failing. This guy says he hit 100,000 miles in 3 years. Been a good truck so far. Sean down there a little bit lower in the comments, he says he has 112,000 on his. It falls under the recall as well. He just probably hasn't done the recall for it yet. And I think this brings up, a good point. Like when you have a truck for three years and you put 100,000 miles on it, that is a lot of miles, probably a lot of highway miles. And I think it kind of points to like maybe there is an oiling issue with this variable oil pump. You see a lot of the people that have lower mileage, probably lots of cold starts, lots of stop and go, short trips. And then you see people with 100, 150,000 miles on them, but they all tend to be, lots of highway miles, lots of fleet vehicles out on the highway running them at probably low RPM, probably low torque. And the oil pump is probably always feeding enough oil for the main bearings and the cams and everything else. You just have to wonder if it is something related to oiling, the size of the passages, all of that related, and maybe not related to bearing material or something like that. And, just to prove, again, the grass is always greener, right? If you've got a Toyota and you're concerned about these issues, you're trying to jump ship. And then if you've got a GM, you're trying to jump ship to Ram. And this guy has a Ram and he's jumping ship to Toyota. He says, happy to be back in a Toyota, traded his 17 Ram 2500 Cummins. Of course, those had a lot of problems. For a 2026 limited nightshade, feels so small, rides like a Cadillac in comparison. He's going to miss towing with the diesel, but he will not miss the repair bills and the anxiety the Ram gave him. Of course, some comments said, man, I'm not sure you've been looking at the issues people have had with some of these newer Tundras. If you're looking to get away from anxiety, you may have picked the wrong brand. But nonetheless, people, do their research and they convince themselves to buy whatever brand they're going to buy for whatever reasons they come up with, and they're just playing the odds at this point. You're playing roulette. So I'm a very risk-averse person. I'm still driving my 2008 Sequoia. I just sent my daughter down to drive it a couple hours. She flew in. I gave her the Sequoia. She's driving it all over, 237,000 miles on it. I don't even think about it. I know that thing's going to start for her. It's going to get her there and back. I don't feel that same way about any of these new vehicles. It's not just Toyota, it's GM, it's Ford. It's why I don't have a new truck myself. It's why I still drive this old low-tech piece of junk. It rides, I'm sure, like a box of rocks compared to these new things. I'm sure they ride awesome. I'm sure they're super quiet, fun to ride. I'm sure the turbos would be great till they're not. But that's how I'm playing it right now. There are a ton of deals. I'm probably going to have a new video coming out soon. Tons of deals on half tons right now. I do think they're trying to get a pull forward effect. They're trying to really push a lot out before the holidays because I think they know that the market's kind of slowing down a little bit. So you can get a ton of deals on these things. I'm just not sure I want to pull the trigger yet. Haven't seen enough long-term reliability in them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.